What up, Skin? Welcome to Bar Vibes of Bryce the Fourth, giving out raw reaction and interacting with the masses. No subject is safe. You hear the people in the noise, but that's the point because without the people, what is the point? Embracing vibrations. First of all, I got to give a shout out to Countrywide Eagles Tailgate Mafia. They are a committed Eagles following group on Facebook. You can go find them. Countrywide Eagles Tailgate Mafia. They do auctions. They have a great tailgate before games. They are starting their podcast called Countrywide Eagles Podcast, starting this week on Wednesday, I believe, at 7. Go follow them. Great people. I met a really good guy. His name's Dennis. He's a cool guy, and they just need the support of the Birds team. And so if you're on Facebook and you can go look them up, join the squad and get on board. Let's get it done. You know what I'm saying? Good people, so let's go. But we always start with them boys, and not them boys, the Birds. Eagles, Rams. First time in history the Eagles are 5-0 in back-to-back seasons. Go Birds. And it started off very weird. So it was very frustrating to just see Cooper Kupp slant. Nope, that's a slant. That's a slant to Cooper. Oh, you want another slant? Yeah, you're going to get another slant. I already knew that our defensive backs were having trouble, and that's okay. If that's going to be the weakness of your team, so be it, because that's a thing that you could scheme to fix. Bradley Roby, excuse me, I saw a stat, and that was awful, that said that when Cooper Kupp was guarded by Bradley Roby, he had one catch for 3 yards, and then the rest, he had all of his other yards. Not good. But, needless to say, they fixed it. The Rams didn't score in the second half. You have to get off the field on third downs. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 7. Get off the field. Again, another thing that you can fix, which they did. Dallas Goedert had a goddamn day. It's another situation where, and it's different when A.J. Brown was saying, openly saying, he wasn't getting the targets that he wanted. Dallas wasn't complaining, but they understood they needed to get him involved in the game, and they did in a big, big way. A.J. Brown also, always open, always fucking open. Got it done. I understand why Devontae Smith could be a little dejected and upset. You're number two on the number 2 receiver on the team, and you only have 6 yards for a catch. He had 6 targets. They were contested. It's okay. I think that, and I hope that coaches are instilling in them that, hey, we got so many weapons. Some week is just not going to be your week, and it's not going to affect the whether you're going to be on this team or not. It just happens. It just does. Hassan, game wrecker Reddick. Those 2 back-to-back sacks were just nasty, and he showed up when he needed to show up. But Jalen Carter, holy moly, he may need that Defensive Rookie of the Year trophy right now. Right now, just give it to him. Rams put up a fight in the first half. They really did. James Bradbury giving up those wild red zone touchdowns. And then speaking of the red zone, the Eagles need to be better in the red zone, but that's neither here nor there, because a win is a win, and we got it. And listen, you talk to any fan and say, hey, your red zone offense is trash, but you're 5-0. I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said? You're 5-0? Yeah, that's all I needed to hear. And Jalen Hurts doing what Jalen Hurts does. That pick that he had was awful. I'm not going to say, I think it was underthrown. Either that or it should have been a pass to the corner. But either way, the quarterback didn't have to do anything but turn around. It's like, oh look, there's the ball. Bottom line is that's a dub. Go Birds. If you thought that I was not going to talk about this game next, you're a fool. You fools. Cowboys 49ers. Wowee. Let's take a second to just think about this. They went into this game, the Cowboys, going, oh, we can match up with the Niners. We're good. We're going to destroy them. Bulletin board material all the way through. And the Niners went in there and was like, you're not better than us. In any facet, they beat them offensively, defensively, special teams, all over the board. The Niners scored 14 straight, and then the Cowboys scored 7. I was watching the video of all the touchdowns in Week 5, and when it came to the Cowboys game and they got 7, I was like, yep, that's the only one they're gonna get. I mean, Chris McCaffrey, that fumble, it's okay, but it still, the fumble, he was running somebody over and just happened to lose the football. As far as Brock Purdy goes, if you watch football, he's making reads like he has been playing football in the NFL for 6 or 7 years. I mean, throwing it over safeties, hitting players on spots. People talk about the scheme for the Niners, and I get that, especially when the run game comes, but you don't make those throws unless you're competent and you understand how things work. Also, Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, this lays on your lap, my boy. Pause. I'm just saying, you get no pressures. Brock Purdy is back there having a fucking picnic back there, just hanging out, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing whatever he wanted to do. And 42-10, that doesn't seem like you are contending. Okay, it's Week 5. I get it. I understand. But we're at the point where it's bye weeks. You get a very, very good look in 4 weeks of what a team can be. That old rah-rah, hoop, yeah, here go the Cowboys defense, could be historic. 42 points on your defense, on your head, doesn't look good. I didn't write any notes for this game. I'm just talking because that was awful. Yeah, Colts, Titans. Jonathan Taylor got paid right before this game. And Zach Moss, I think, maybe almost made them regret that choice. I get it. You got to pay your players. And then as the season goes on, Jonathan Taylor is going to get more of the carries. My guy, Colts fan, he made a trade in fantasy for Jonathan Taylor. I'm sorry, not for Jonathan Taylor. He traded away Zach Moss, having Jonathan Taylor, knowing that as the season goes on, JT is going to get those carries. But Zach Moss is 3rd in the league in rushing right now. Anthony Richardson gets hurt again. That sucks. It was a bad... You could see when he landed on his shoulder, and I thought it was his hand because he was holding it like this, but I didn't realize when he was on the ground he was going like this. So he was trying to hold up his own arm, which sucks. It's going to be a multiple game injury, but when you got the best backup quarterback in the league in Gardner Minshew, I mean, you're not really worried about that. I mean, he's been on my team. I understand how that works. Tannehill is becoming a below average quarterback. He used to be just average and they could just run the ball and he could just make a couple throws here and there. No, when they needed him most, he was fucking bad. It was over. My last point of this is Derrick Henry is not helping the running back getting paid conversation. He had 43 yards. Where are you? Where are you? It was a less than touchdown game. Those are the games where you need your best player, Derrick Henry, to make plays, and he could not do it. The Colts defense, they're not like grandiose. Where are you? They're not playing from behind the entire game. Where are you? So, I mean, but Colts get the dub, so that's pretty much all you need to say. Broncos, Jets. Sean Payton had to feel like a dickhead. This man in the offseason just tore down the Jets, tore down Nathaniel Hackett, said it was the worst coaching performance that he ever seen, and then you go and play them head-to-head and get your ass beat. Now, I'll say this. Zach Wilson did not do anything to help them to win. I think he had less than 200 yards, 199. Yeah, pulling hairs, but whatever. Threw a pick, a very bad one, but the Jets defense helped them win this game. Breece Hall, that man is that boy good. Breece Hall is fucking nice, and but the defense won the game for the Jets, and that's just the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Russell Wilson, for everything that he's done in this league, he fumbles like a loser. Like he's always carrying the ball in his left hand, like behind him though. He's not holding it. And that was the end of the game when they got that fumble, and the Jets just ran it right in. The game's over. The Broncos are a dumpster fire, and I've been reading things where they're thinking about shopping Jerry Jeudy, which is wild. Their best receiver. And if I was him, I wouldn't want to be there either, because it looks like shit. It just does. Jets get the dub. Falcons, Texans, it was fucking field goal city there. Just field goal after field goal. They were in the red zone a lot. No touchdowns whatsoever to come about that. Kyle Pitts actually got to fucking play a game. He wasn't just running around like it was like he was just working out. He had 7 catches, and Desmond Ridder. This is a wild fact. He's from that area. He has never lost in that stadium or in Atlanta since he was in college. Undefeated. So for you bettors out there, remember that. I found out he hasn't lost there since his junior year in high school. That is a wild stat. We were watching the game, and when they were kicking when the Falcons were kicking the game-winning field goal, the TV blacked out. We were like, "What?" It was like The Sopranos when, at the end of The Sopranos, listen, if you think I'm spoiling anything, The Sopranos been out forever. Who cares? When at the end, it just blacked out, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" They kicked the field goal, and then I was like, "Did they make it?" And it came back, and they were like, "The Falcons win." I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" CJ Stroud still hasn't thrown a pick, but that did not help them win a game. They lost. Falcons win. Cardinals, Bengals. This was what Jamar Chase was trying to tell you guys last week. I'm always fucking open. Throw me the football. Throw me the ball. Throw me the football. And that's what they did. Man had 3 touchdowns, almost 200 yards. Killing cats out there. It was not even a contest. Josh Dobbs looked like a guy who was just brought in. Yes, I understand that if you don't know, the man is an actual astronaut. But that's not going to help you on the football field. You threw 2 picks. You didn't, help your team come back. Joe Burrow is definitely still hurt. That's a fact. But he did not look hurt in this game. He was running all over the place. It didn't show at all. So this was a game where the Bengals needed to get right. And that's what they did. Steelers, Ravens. Little story for you here. So, Eagles didn't play so far. So, I meandered down to the local watering hole, which is where I am in right now. And one of my homies, he's a Ravens fan. They were about to go into halftime. It was 4th and 2, and I was like, "Yo, if you guys don't kick this field goal, you're gonna lose to the Steelers." "No, we're not. You have no idea what you're talking about." "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know football, bro. You're right. You are right." They don't get it on 4th and 2. They go in the second half. They get a block punt safety, and then they let Kenny Pickett just fucking throw a goddamn dime to Pickens. And then here comes Watt just fucking wrecking shit. And do you know the end of this game? Yeah, the Steelers won. He didn't want to hear shit from me. But, hey, I don't know football. That's cool. I don't know what to tell you. Lowest scoring game, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Ravens are always. And it's going to, like, when they play each other again, I guarantee you it's going to be just the same way. My biggest thing from this is that Lamar's receivers let him the fuck down. I saw Bateman with a clear, right here in his hands, in the back of the end zone, drop it. Let me ask you this, if you heard this before. Nelson Aguilar dropped a touchdown pass. Weird, right? Steelers win the game, and it should have been Ravens by 2 touchdowns, but this is why you play the game. Panthers, Lions. Another boring game because this is a game where one team should have won, other team should have lost. Lions, Panthers. Lions absolutely dominated. Jared Goff is the Super Saiyan of game managers. That's how I describe him. Excuse me. He makes the plays that he needs to play, but he doesn't do anything extra. He's not like, oh, wait, maybe I could fit it into this window. Or, oh, wait, maybe I could throw this pass when I know I got a 5-yard under. Nope. Jared Goff's like, I got this. That's what it's going to be. Done and done. And also, it's not much to discuss because this is what was supposed to happen. Bryce Young had a lot of empty calories, which means, at the end of the game, he got a touchdown or two. He still turned the ball over. I don't know what it is about him, and I wouldn't say it's like a lack of weapons. It's just like I think he's just getting acclimated to the game. But then you look at C.J. Stroud for the Texans, and it's like, why is he not doing that when one is a Heisman winner and one isn't? Weird. Again, not much to say about them. Lions handled business. Running game was explosive from the beginning. Lions win. Vikings Chiefs. The Vikings had a lot of chances to win this game, or at least take it over and then methodically run it down because they do have a running game, especially when Travis Kelce got hurt. Kirk Cousins will not win you a game throwing the football 50 times. They don't run the ball well enough for him to be like, hey, we're in 3rd and 5 or we're in 3rd and 3. They get a lot of 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 9s, and then he just doesn't come through. Almost 50 pass attempts is not good for this team. The defense is not really world beaters, and you're playing the Chiefs, who, for me, I've watched a couple of the games. Again, they lost to the Lions. They're not chiefing like they used to chief. Like, you don't go into the game like, oh yeah, they're gonna blow them out. This is a 7-point game, which brings me to my next point. The officials, and you could argue the officials fucking up games all the time. The officials fucked this game up at the end because there was 3 calls at the end that they could have called. Hands to the face, they could have called PI, but also the man, when they threw the flag, the DB took his helmet off. I don't know if you know, I know the rule book. Seen it happen before to my team. You take your helmet off, that is an automatic penalty. The referee told him to put his helmet back on. That is not how this works. I get it's the end of the game. Maybe he had a dinner to go to, or his wife was calling him or something like that. No, sir. This was a penalty. Don't understand it. Terrible officiating. And then for the Vikings, Justin Jefferson is out for at least 4 weeks on IR with a hamstring injury. It's more of a precaution, but I mean, if you think that your team is going to be in it at the end, you're going to have to do this. So, hate to see it.
They're not going to be in it. They just want to hire a draft pick.
Daniel said they're not going to be in it. They just want to hire a draft pick. I mean, yeah, maybe. Packers Raiders. Another boring ass fucking game. Packers offense is very stagnant. They don't have anything that stands out. There's nothing where I'm looking at the Packers offense like, oh, they can get you in this. No, can't get you in the running game. It's bleh. They can't. Jordan Love is just almost becoming a check down king. He did have a couple long passes. He had one, the 177-yard pass, but they got in the red zone and they kicked the field goal. And then also on the flip side, going through puberty, the Raiders, if they don't have Josh Jacobs, they lose this game. It was a very boring game. Again, another game with a lot of field goals. And of course, I got A.J. Dillon, and I bench him, and he fucking scores a touchdown. How about that? My biggest taking point away from this is Jair Alexander at the end of the game. The cornerback for the Packers was like, we know as a defense that we have to carry this team. And I'm like, oh, you might not want to say that. And I understand what he's saying because he was like, hey, the offense is young. I get it. But it's like, for me, when I heard it, it sounded like he was saying that the offense is shitty. We need to be like the 85 Bears. But that would never happen. So, is what it is. Saints Pats. Mac Jones is just not it. I don't understand why it took us this long to understand this, or why a lot of people were like, no, they can get it done. No. The man's got benched twice in 2 weeks. That was a stupid statement. The man's got benched 2 times in a row. I don't get why people think that this vanilla-ass Patriots offense is going to get it done, but it's just not. And the Saints really didn't have to do anything spectacular. They took what they could get. The first pick 6 by Mac Jones was just horrible. Threw it over the middle to the safety. Easy dub. And it's clear that with the injuries that the Patriots have, and overtime, even last year, the Belichick defense being a juggernaut and being afraid, it's just not it's the thing of old. It really is. The year that Brady left, they were his last 9 games, It was 4 for 5, 4 and 5, and he knew it was time to go. Things were just dwindling down. But the biggest thing here is that Mac Jones is not that guy. I say he's a really good backup quarterback. He is not a starter at all. The Saints fucking demolished him. Every time I looked up, score, and 34-0. Yuck. They're going to have to do something, and you know the thing they're not going to do is get rid of Bill Belichick, so going to have to figure that answer out real quick, or otherwise it's going to get ugly. Maybe it's a lighthouse. If you know, you know. Bills Jags. Every time I looked up at the screen, it was 11-0. I'm like, so is anybody going to do anything in this game? 11-0 for like a quarter and a half. And then Stephon Diggs gets a score. I love that he did the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration because they were in England. But the Jags had the advantage in this game because they stayed in London after already playing there, while the Bills had to fly there, and they tried the whole, hey, let's get to London and stay up all day and get some sleep. Nope. Even Stephon Diggs said about Josh Allen that he looked sleepy. He was calling this man sleepyhead. Don't call another man sleepyhead. That's weird. But still, it was like a weird scores back and back. I think it was like 18-7 at one point, which is a weird score. I wonder if that's the score it got me. I have no idea. But my biggest takeaway from this is NTN won off. NTN fucking had a day. Travis NTN for the running back for the Jags had a fucking day. But there was a play in the fourth quarter where Josh Allen was maybe 2 yards short, and all of his players pushed him into the end zone. So let me ask you this. If you're allowed to push a player from 2 yards into the end zone, why can't you push a player from 1 yard beyond the end zone? That's weird. If it works, right? This is a game about being stronger than the other person on the other side of the ball, right? Weird, right? How that works, right? But, yeah, the Bills, they took away, this is like a Bills home game. And they took a home game away from the Bills, and they lost to the Jags, and that's bad because they're in the AFC. They're in the same conference, so we'll see how this plays out toward the end of the year. Bears-Commanders, that was a Thursday night game. The Bears made sure they didn't lose after R.I.P. Dick Butkus died. DJ Moore, another player, he's like, I need the fucking football. And they were like, say less. 230 yards. Justin Fields had 260 yards. So that man had all of them. All of the yards. All of the yards. I'll take all of the yards, please. On a platter. I'll take all of them. Put his big boy pants on and was like, give me the fucking rock. And he got the rock, and he made every fucking chance count. 3 scores, 230. The Commanders are, they're turning back into the R words, and you hate to see it. Sam Howell just chucking balls up for no reason. I think that for the Commanders, their kicker let them down because they had a chance where they scored, and he just missed a really, really bad kick. I think it was like maybe less than 45 yards. Those are gimmies. You got to make those. It was a huge momentum game for the Bears, but now the Bears are in a really tough spot because it's like they know that they don't have like the roster to compete with teams in the NFC, but you're winning these games. So they already have a top 3 pick, but do you want to win these games right now? Do you want to put yourself in a spot where it's like you're not going to make the playoffs, but you're not going to get a good draft pick? We don't know, and it depends on what they're going to do in the next few weeks, but Bears win the game wholeheartedly, handily. Final game, Giants-Dolphins. The people that are believing in Daniel Jones, I don't get it. I really don't. I know that his offensive line is shitty. I'll table that for a second. Evan Neal, what the fuck were you talking about? Getting mad at your fans for booing you because you're shitty? That makes no sense. How about you be better? I watched a play where Evan Neal literally, right tackle, popped off the line, didn't even look to his right. The DN just beat the shit out of him. And then there was another one where they doubled Micah on the left, so he got one-on-one with a backup DN and got bullied. And then you get mad that your fans are bullying you because they drove 2 hours to the game and paid parking and paid for a ticket and paid all this money to watch you play like shit as a first-round pick. You deserve to be booed, my boy. That little bullshit apology they had, I'm not even a Giants fan. Far from it. That's bullshit. They are allowed to boo you when you are being shitty. But either way, the Dolphins, they gave them multiple chances. Tua threw a fucking red zone pick 6. And they threw another pick later in the game. And they just couldn't develop any offense. I don't know if you guys know who Tyreek Hill is, but I think rule number 1 is do not press cover the fastest player in the league. Why would you do that? That is just dumb. And they did, and they paid for it. It was just an ass kicking. It just was. Devon Achane, his name. He's out for a few weeks, which sucks because he was fucking tearing it up the past few weeks. He's out for a couple weeks with a knee injury. I think they'll be okay, especially with Mostert still being really good. Giants, I mean, I don't know where they move from here because they're paying him all this money and there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is. Phils are in the playoffs. It's 1-1. It was they gave up a terrible 4-0 lead yesterday to the Braves. Pitching was just not so great at the end of the game. Great hit. I mean, it's baseball. It's playoff baseball. Every pitch counts. Every pitch counts. And this is where we are. Getting that first W in the first game was very crucial. And here we go. We got another game tomorrow, game 3. They get that, and I think that we can go smooth sailing. I'm currently watching the Astros and the Twins right now. Astros up 6-1. It's a 1-1 series for them. Astros giving them that work right now, and they're not cheating. Look at that. How about that? As far as Liverpool goes, Villarreal is bullshit. I can't believe that they didn't see a clear onside for Luis Diaz in the Tottenham game, and it just so happens that Tottenham is now 3 points ahead at the top of the table. Do you know how many points you get for a win? 3. We didn't get the win because down 2 men because Villarreal is bullshit. They barely got away with the draw this past Sunday. I didn't get to watch it. I was at a Oyster Festival. Big Dan in the building. So yeah, it just sucks, and we're in 4th now because of this bullshit ass call. Man City lost though, so that was cool, but Arsenal won, so that was not cool. Whatever. A random thought is, why do people go, you know my favorite, and then yada yada yada? Why the fuck would I know your favorite this? Damn, you know what my favorite story is? How the fuck would I know that? I don't know. I heard a really cool story. An older friend of mine, she's a nurse, and she said that they used to have to keep people in the hospital away from the cafeteria because they were on like things that like fed them and feeding tubes. That was a really weird lapse in thought, but they had to keep them away from like as far away as possible from the cafeteria because the popcorn smell in the in the cafeteria was so strong that people would unplug their tubes to try to go get popcorn. I thought that was cool. She was a nurse in like the 50s, 40s, so I thought that was cool. Really weird, but anyway, big ups to the First State. Stay focused and be great. Take a sip. Much love from the kid. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. Stay chill. Hoodie season finally upon us. Don't forget to go follow Countrywide Eagles Tailgate Mafia on Facebook. Subscribe to their podcast, Countrywide Eagles Podcast. And always look both ways when you cross the street, please, because a lot of people don't.